What's up guys, this is Sean and welcome to another episode of the iherng podcast, and this will be a celebration episode of our 50,000 subscribers for the channel. I'm just really grateful for all of you guys. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And to do something different for this celebration, right, my friends at DeLonghi has decided to sponsor a coffee machine which is worth around 1,700 ringgit. And last week I kind of posted something on Instagram asking people to ask questions, and made the most interesting question, the question that I resonate with the most, will win himself or herself a brand new coffee machine. So that's exciting, but the amount for questions are just insane. So the amount of questions are truly insane, where you can see it's still going, still scrolling. So I wanted to answer all one by one, but it's pretty impossible. In total, there's 274 questions altogether. Let's say one takes around a minute, right? There will be 274 minutes, which is around 4 hours. But I don't think anybody would want to do a Q&A 4 hours. Even if I did, nobody would watch lah, right? Unless I announce the gift at the end. But that wouldn't make sense as well, right? So I personally shortlisted a few questions that I personally think that it will clarify the topics better. But before that session, right, I would like to wish everybody a very safe and healthy New Year. May all of us be prosperous and in abundance for this brand new year. And just some updates. If you guys have followed me on Instagram, you guys know my family's home in Taman Sri Muda was greatly affected by the recent flash flood, right? So water was up to second story. It means everything in ground floor practically wiped out, right? So 3 cars of theirs, plus the kitchen cabinet, the bedroom downstairs, the wardrobe, shelves, all gone case, including all the fishes that my father rear lah. But all the pets are safe, everybody in the family is safe. Although it was a second attempt, it was our second experience facing this kind of flash flood. Unfortunately, we moved house, the new house that is way higher, around 1.5 meters higher than the normal neighborhood, but it still flooded, unfortunately. So the last flood was 1995. My entire experience and perspective is very different compared when I was younger to today. But we will keep this topic for another day. Also, I've officially kick-started the NFT project Journey Around Malaysia. You guys can find my project at OpenSea. You just tap in iherng, you get to find my collection, and feel free to buy anyone. So I've just minted 10 of them, as I'm still trying to figure out what I can give in terms of time and resources, right? So practically now I'm giving out one-to-one sessions to all of them, getting to know each and every one of you. Then all these holders will be put into a Discord group or a private group, and whenever I go visit properties, right, these are the folks that I will prioritize. So we will also have discussions around other investments such as crypto, watches, and etc. So it's going to be a very cool one. Currently 6 to 7 has already been sold, left 2 to 3. So if you are interested, please go OpenSea.io and check out iherng, iherng. And now let's just head on to the Q&A, and the very first question is from Hong Yi Yap 98. Would you mind to share about your property portfolio and the reason why you acquired them? I think I've shared several of them here, the Puchong one, the JB one, and the recent one I acquired in Bukit Jalil. There are several others which I don't think I want to disclose all of them, because it will put my family in danger. Suddenly like, wow, Sean has a lot of units, right? And he means that he's super rich, right? Then not so good. But I will slowly introduce one by one. Be patient. But why I like this question is because the main reason and intent of acquiring properties were different. The first one, I kind of got it to leverage on the LRT station. Ever since I got the keys, the unit is rented out until today. So today is generating a very nice cash flow, where the renter can even cover maintenance plus installment all together and still have surplus. So that's very good. And so far, all the properties that I've acquired are rented out, and in overall, it's a net, as there are several landed properties in between. Currently, I'm trying to sell the one in JB because I felt that it's a little bit too troublesome, it's too time consuming for me to manage. I don't have the property guys there to manage it for me. Unlike my properties around here in Klang Valley, I just pass everything to them. But the several new properties I've acquired, Generally, they are for cash flow. The renter in the market can easily justify the price that I buy. As the installment after 35 years, it makes a lot of sense. The second question I like is HM Lim 1129. Do you mind sharing what is the progress of your attempt to work out the bulk purchase deals? So I've launched this website called Petak Petak. It was an experiment to somewhat group purchase. It means that anyone who's interested in the project can just somewhat show indication of your interest that you want to purchase that project, and my role is to just gather all of you. So let's say you have a 10 or 15 people all together interested. I will then represent you guys in negotiating a deal with the developer. Of course, the deal will not be crazy like 25-30%. At most, it's going to be 2 to 3%. And you know what? One deal kind of got through where there are 12 to 15 people registered for that particular project. But when we go to the unit itself, everybody dropped out. So it's a little bit too time consuming on my side, as I'm still mainly running this channel personally. It just takes too much time and too much effort to communicate with all parties on this side, then to arrange logistics and deals, the marketing and sales side of the developer. So both sides needs to be agreeable for things to happen, and it just didn't make sense for me. So now I'm just trying to figure out like what's the best way to do it. But as I gather several feedbacks, right, 1 to 2% to a lot of people is not a good enough bulk deal. So why do I want to go through all this, right, for extra 1 to 2% when people don't even appreciate it? So yeah, that's why Petak Petak is still currently somewhat on hold. I'm still cracking my head around it. So the next question is by Guo Zhang. Short but controversial question. Will property price keep increasing over time? Simple but seriously very controversial. My take is generally yes. And it's not only what I think that is important. If you look into statistical data by the government, property prices has gradually increased over time, around 3 to 5% every single year. Of course, there will be locations where it spikes very high, but there will be locations where it lose money as well. So for example, all the properties that just went through the flash flood, right? The properties price is somewhat gonna be like that, easily like that. That's very unfortunate for the owners and the families. They lose everything, including the property price. But that does not stop property prices at other places to hike or to go higher. But what's certain in the economy is inflation. So the cost of materials is going to go up, cost of human resources is going to go up, cost of land in popular location is going to be scarce, it's running out soon. So I personally believe that property prices will gradually go up across time, but just that people are not satisfied with the 1 to 2% or 3 to 5% a year kind of increase, especially after they have experienced crypto growth before. Property are just really slow. Next question by Jason Lee. How do you get 2 or 3 houses in 1 year at 70% LTV? For those who don't understand, LTV means the margin that the banks allow me to get in terms of loan. So let's say the property is 1 million, they only allow me maximum 70%, which is 700,000. So if the developer gives 10% discount, I need to cough up the remaining 20%, which is the difference between the loan amount and the selling price. So the direct answer to that, 2 ways. One is to find deals where the developer is willing to give discounts at 20 to 30%. So let's say if they give 30% discount, even if I take at 70% loan, I don't have to cough out anything. The second way is to really cough out capital, right? When you are at that stage where you are talking about 6, 7, 8, 9 different properties already, we are required to prepare certain level of capital upfront. So a 10 to 15% upfront capital is pretty normal for investors. Not everything needs to be zero down, and that's how I built my property portfolio so far. But if you are really interested in properties that's providing crazy discount up to 20 to 30%, right? There's a video that I talked about me being a FAR Capital client, and if you're interested to know more, you can check out the video or you can just email me so I can somewhat tell you privately lah. Yeah. Next question, Angel Tan YT. What inspired you to be creating YouTube videos and housing reviews as your content? Several things actually. So after I attended so many different podcasts, right? I think the first thing that hit me was the incident of comparison between my client as well as my neighbors. I was advising my client in their 15 or 16 property purchase. I have no clue really, I couldn't remember exactly, but I know the project was between BBCC and TRX. These are projects that is 1,007 per square feet up to 2002, 2001. But after work, when I go back home, my neighbor that consists of 4 to 5 different working adults couldn't even make ends meet. They cannot afford to pay the rent. Therefore, they are having this family quarrel on debating who should pay more of their share. And that's very sad to see the gap of the rich and the poor. And the rich are getting richer by the day, and the poor still stays there or even decline. That is very, very devastating. And to me, I realized that it was the gap, that knowledge gap in mindset, that determines the outcome of these two. So what I can do as an individual is to share my experience in money, personal financing, real estate, property. And because I'm trained professionally in property, where I study architecture, I have a master's in real estate, that somewhat gives me more confidence in creating real estate content. Plus, it's my hobby when I have nothing to do to visit property galleries anyway. So it was pretty easy for me to incline to property as the main content for the channel. Cool fact, I have created calligraphy channels before. I have created other channels before which didn't work out. So this is not my very first channel. I guess we learn from experience. Okay, great question. Next question, being a modern parent, how would you prepare for your child financially in 10 to 20 years? I think if I interpret this correctly, is how do I prepare him to understand money, right? And what's the greatest inspiration right now? If you guys have read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book before, in that book, he somewhat mentioned this line where for the poor people, no matter how successful or how smart you are, we will always be poor. But for the rich, even if the child is not so intelligent, he will still be rich no matter what. That illustrates the habits and the mindset around money between these two classes are very, very different. Even the mindset, it can be a simple scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset between an individual, right, will set him apart in terms of money. And this is me speaking from my family observations. Those that are not doing as well, right, they are very, very uncomfortable when they talk about money, when they talk about finances. It's borderline rude when you ask them their financial situation. Like, how's your new job, right? And does it pay well? How can you ask such sensitive questions? It's so rude. This is a family dinner. But if I were to go to the better off families, right, dinner table conversations revolves around crypto. Hey, where are you parking your money now? Are you into crypto? Are you into staking or DeFi? Are you still into stocks? What kind of counters are you buying? What kind of dividend on returns that you are getting? And which property are you eyeing for? How do you keep buying without capital, and etc.? Those are the topics that indirectly forms the mindset of the child. And to me, I'm going to be as open as possible about money to make him feel comfortable around it, not necessarily spending it, right? Everybody can feel comfortable, but the values around money, like, and the difference between assets and liability, all this. But he's barely 1 year old, so I have a long way to go. This is another fun question by That Small Fry. If you're given a chance to restart your career again, would you end up in the same place? Most likely, yes, I think. But I guess we can only connect life backwards, like what Steve Jobs says, right? Every hurdle, like, actually got scholarships to attend junior college in Singapore, but I didn't because it was too far for my parents. Then I was going to pursue my architectural part 2 in Australia, but I couldn't afford it. That's why I took up the job as an agent, and that's when I discovered a whole different world. And because of one investment mistake that I made me realize that not all property stories are fancy. They are devastating stories as well. But personally, I have no regrets going through all the hurdle, going through the days where I need to donate blood just for food so I can save up the money for a meal, so I have money for 1 day longer. And the fact that I was courageous enough to put up my very first video on Facebook, then only open a YouTube channel and just link over. Who would ever thought that initial move would end up in today, right? So would I change anything? Not really. At most is I would start investing even earlier. If I could change back, right, I would start investing earlier. I bought my first at 22. I would buy earlier. I would invest more in Bitcoin when it just started. I would invest in NFT even earlier. But I guess that's not how the world works lah. But I think this is the last one that I will answer, right? This is by Bundre. What will be the value you aim to add to the NFT industry that will bring greater abundance? To me, NFT, it's a form of digital contract. It's definitely more than just an image. So to me, I have no clue on the big idea, but how I'm going to use it is I'm going to build a deeper connection with you guys using the NFT technology. But if you're investing into an NFT today, then I will meet you one-to-one, then I will add you into this private group of us where we can talk about anything in the world. We can share that the recent DeFi that I just found out, the recent model of a watch that I think is undervalued, or what's my next move in this investment journey, or how do I run a Discord server, and etc. Those are the things that will be discussed among us. Many are using it in an international platform. Yes, some may just use it to gather wealth blindly, right? Because a lot of people just have money in abundance, and if you notice that, right, in the crypto world, money are just in abundance, and a lot are trying to take advantage of it. To me, I'm kind of running this in the other total different direction, where I'm running this in a very micro level. But the good thing is the selling price of the NFT is increasing. And cool fact, thank you very much for investing in iherng 0001, right? So that was the very first NFT minted, and Bundre actually bought the first one. Thank you very, very much. And I think that's all for this episode. There are still a lot of other questions, and I purposely use this platform where it limits the character. If not, right, imagine 200 over emails. I can never fully answer all. But anyway, I would like to present this coffee machine to that small fry. Right? Personally, he have asked me a lot of questions before via email, and I've always see him around the live shows, in the Property Guru live shows, in the YouTube live session, and etc. Thank you so much for your support. I always see him around. It's as if he like don't need to work one, but but his question really struck me because a lot of people always want to look back. A lot of what ifs. What if I didn't buy this? What if I purchased this? What if I just proceed with the loan? What if? But to me, there's not really any benefit looking backwards. It's impossible to run when you keep looking backwards, right? Keep looking forward, and that is what inspired me. And congratulations that small fry. Do send me an email and I'll arrange the logistics and get this machine over to you. And with that, thank you very much once again for watching, for supporting the channel. But come to think of it, right, this really puts pressure on the next 10k of subscribers because the gift starts getting bigger. Last time was a vacuum cleaner lah. Last time, now it's a coffee machine. Really, how do I top? Oof. But anyway, it's definitely a happy problem. If you guys have any other questions regarding real estate, do just email me, taniherng@gmail.com, taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram, iherng, or you can always go to Property Guru's website, Ask Guru segment, #AskGuruSean, and the questions will be directed directly to me. I guess that's all. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one. Ciao.